All right, guys, welcome into the my first live stream on YouTube. In today's video, I want to go over just preparing for your Amazon product launch in 2020. Any questions that any of my viewers and subscribers have? This is my first time doing a live stream. So please, if you have any questions, please feel free to start asking any questions you have. I'm going to be monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask any questions you have. Let's just talk about picking the best products to start off with for 2020 launch. If you're currently doing Amazon FBA product research, you know, some of the categories that are really interesting right now that I want you guys to be looking in are patio, lawn and garden, sports and outdoors, home improvement. All of those types of products and categories are really good because we have Chinese New Year coming up. We have a lot of suppliers that are going to be taking some time off for Chinese New Year. So Chinese New Year is coming up. The suppliers are going to be shut down anywhere from only 10 days, 2 weeks, all the way up to 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the supplier. So feel free to ask any questions you have and leave a comment if you have any questions. We're going to be talking about Chinese New Year, how to deal with Chinese suppliers and freight forwarders being off and gone, and the best products to launch going forward for 2020. And we'll talk about Amazon PPC. I'm happy to see Hugo is in the chat, and he told me he'd be here, so he is. Hi, Hugo. Happy to see you made it. Let's just start right off the bat. So if you're doing Amazon FBA product research right now and you're trying to find out what products are the best to launch right now, I want you guys to be looking in these categories. So patio, lawn and garden, sports and outdoors, home and improvement. Those type of products make great products to start sourcing right now. Doesn't mean you have to only look in those categories, but those are really good categories. So like succulent plants or anything like outdoor gardening or outdoor furniture and outdoor decor, all these types of products, by the time you start sourcing them, reaching out to suppliers, order a custom sample, get that custom sample in, start negotiating back and forth with your supplier. By the time you launch and get the product to the Amazon warehouse, it's going to be, a minimum of March 1st. So we're going into Chinese New Year right now. And so some of my suppliers are off and going to be away for Chinese New Year for only, a week or two, all the way up to I have another supplier who's gone 4 to 6 weeks. So it's just going to depend on your supplier, how long your supplier is going to be off for Chinese New Year. So the only thing you can be doing right now, and that Chinese New Year starts around January 24th is when the Chinese suppliers are going to be shutting down, taking some time off. And so we're cutting it a little bit close. But if you're doing product research right now and you want to launch, the best thing to start doing is just start reaching out to those suppliers. So if you've got a product and you've put it through your product analysis, hello, Joe. Thanks for being here. I see you're in the chat. Thank you so much for joining me. Hey, Joe. Hi, Hugo. So Chinese suppliers is going to be off for a little while. So start contacting suppliers, start getting quotes and information on the cost per unit, cost for DDP shipping, and just be upfront with your supplier and ask them, how long will you be gone celebrating Chinese New Year? You're looking to launch a product. The soonest you're going to be launching, if you're haven't started contacting suppliers already, is minimum of March 1st. So it's going to be a little bit of time, but now is a great time to start contacting your supplier, asking for, you can use the Alibaba template that I have and send that off. I recommend reaching out to a minimum of 5 suppliers right now. So you want to send that template off to a minimum of 5 suppliers. Okay. So if you guys have any questions regarding suppliers or shipping or Chinese New Year, any questions you have, feel free to leave those and I'll be answering those as well. But the best way to deal with Chinese New Year is to just work around it. There's not much we can do other than start contacting the suppliers and getting quotes and pricing for your product. Ask them, do they offer DDP shipping? Ask them, how long will they be gone for Chinese New Year? And try to get a custom sample ordered as soon as possible. So maybe you can't, start production before they leave on holiday for Chinese New Year. But maybe you can get negotiations started, start building that communication and open communication line between you and your potential supplier, and start getting quotes and information on DDP shipping and talk about improving the product, and then get that custom sample order. That would be really good if you can get a custom sample ordered before they leave for Chinese New Year. So custom sample means that you found a potential product or two. I recommend, narrowing it down from like 5 to 10 potential product ideas, narrowing it down to 1 to 3 really good FBA product ideas, and then contacting with the Alibaba template that I have a minimum of 3 to 5 suppliers of each product. Okay, and you'll send that template off. Make the template specific for that specific product. Put the product link to the product on Amazon that you're trying to replicate. Put the link in there of any, or ask the questions. Can you improve the product? Give them any information as far as upgrades, differentiation, improvements, value you want to add. If you find a product and you think it's going to sell really well, there's always room, and you should be innovating and improving the product in some way. And the best way to go about innovating, adding value, and setting yourself up to make a ton of sales as fast as possible is to just go ahead and read the negative reviews. So that's what I recommend doing. If you're having a hard time deciding how am I going to add value, how am I going to differentiate myself from my competition, is to download all the reviews. You can use Helium 10's review downloader. So you go up to the Helium 10 blue bubble in the top right, the Chrome extension, and there's actually a review downloader, and you can filter it by 1, 2, 3-star reviews, 4 stars and under. And the reviews are a really powerful way to get ideas on how to improve the product and differentiate. So always be differentiating, always be improving the product and thinking, how can I make this product better? You want to basically make it a no-brainer for the customer to choose your product over all the others. So Joe asked a great question. So there's delay to get your production off and running. You should expect your product to be running the holiday. It's just about to be here. So we should not start with production. So if you can get production going, absolutely, that's no problem. Thanks for the question, Joe. If you can get production started, that's fine. But starting January 24th, most suppliers are going to be heading off on holiday anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks. So usually you won't be able to get production started if you're just looking at contacting suppliers right now. You won't be able to get production started before they leave on Chinese New Year. But what you could do is start contacting suppliers, start negotiating with suppliers, start talking about improvements and differentiation and all of that, and then get a custom sample ordered. Okay, so custom sample ordered, they'll get that shipped off to you. Usually a custom sample will take anywhere from 3 to 7 days to get to you. And the best way to improve the product and communicate that to the supplier, what you want different about your product or what you want improved upon on the product, again, by looking at the negative reviews and what the market is telling you. So you can look at the main competitors in your space, in the niche. What are most of the customers over and over and over saying is wrong with that product, and how can you address those things? Usually it's just as simple and easy as either doing a sketch on a notepad or doing taking some notes as you come across and read all the negative reviews. You'll find common themes. I'm looking at a product right now myself that is used in an office setting, something to do with like a desk and underneath the desk. And so basically one of the issues we're having, that I'm having, is with the product itself, is a lot of people are saying like it needs to have a removable cover, or that the product starts to fail after a little while. Usually it'll be as simple as just talking to your supplier about fixing those things. So can you offer a removable cover? Can you make it a better, higher material? And they'll usually be able to come up with something better and more advanced material and offer a removable cover with a zipper. And usually what I do to communicate what I want done or improved upon on my product is I do a notepad sketch, or I just take a series of notes as I'm going through and analyzing all the negative reviews. And I'll circle certain parts of the product that I'm trying to replicate. And I put little notes down to send to my supplier like this. I wish this opened here different, or I wish this material was different here. And usually 80% of the time, the supplier will be able to address those things and fix them. Okay, so that's really cool. So yeah, before Chinese New Year, you're not going to get a whole lot done. But what you could do is absolutely contact those suppliers, start negotiating, start talking about differentiation and improvements, and then see if they can produce your product and get a custom sample sent out to you before they leave on holiday. If not, that's no problem. Some suppliers will only be gone 10 days. Some suppliers will be gone 3-4 weeks. But what you can do in the meantime is really narrow down who your target market, who the target customer is, what are they using the product for. Take a look at all of the sellers in the niche. Look at all your competitors' products. How are they, if they're making a bunch of money, making a bunch of sales, how long have they been selling? Is it an updated model? Can you be the next to the market with an updated version or updated model? Another tip I have is when you're talking to your suppliers about a product that you found on Alibaba, let's say you found a product on Alibaba or on Amazon that's selling well, and it is on Alibaba. A lot of times, one of the first questions I'll ask my supplier is, do you have an upgraded, better version of the product? So a lot of times they'll say, oh yeah, we're just about to come out with a brand new version of this product with upgraded designs or upgraded material. And that's something you always want to take advantage of, is any upgraded designs, upgraded features and benefits that that the product may have or be able to have. You want to have those and be the first or second to the market with those. I see the Grout Man is here. Hello, Jack. Thanks for being here today. How do you look for a seasonal springtime product now? What numbers on Helium 10 should you be looking at? Because the search volume could be very low right now. Yeah, great question, Jack. So for springtime summer products, some, just right off the top of my head, some examples of some products that are like that are going to be like picnic basket kit, or a picnic basket with blanket inside of it, or a folded up picnic basket blanket, or a baby pop-up tent for the beach, or a sunshade sail that goes on the side of a deck or on top of a patio. All of those types of products, obviously are going to not be selling very well right now. But what I would recommend you do is open up your main competitors of one of those products, or all those products which you're looking at, and look at your main competitors, your top 1, 2, 3 competitors, and then look at the Helium 10 sales graph down below and look at the red line. And so we want to see that red line stays pretty low in spring and summer especially. Now, there will be a life cycle to every product. Not every product is going to sell, tons of units year round. But if it is your first or second product, make sure that the product's not seasonal. If this is your second or third product, maybe you can go into a little bit more of a seasonal product. The red line, you want to see that red line below 50,000 through summer, spring, and winter. So if that red line, that BSR, stays below 50,000 through summer, spring, and winter, it's not a seasonal product. If you can find, I'm coming across products right now, as I'm doing product research to launch in spring and summer, I'm coming across products right now that are actually selling really well, or they're making good money. Let's say between $5,000 and $15,000 a month revenue right now in the middle of winter, but they're used outdoor on a grill. So you'd think that since they're used outdoors and on a grill, it wouldn't be selling that much right now. But if you can find products like that, like this product in particular I'm looking at is used on a grill for cooking stuff on a grill. No, it's not grill gloves. I wouldn't sell grill gloves. That's too competitive. But you can definitely look at products that, if they're making money now, just think of how much they'll be making when they're used, like in spring and summer, like when they're used outdoors. So the product I'm looking at now, I've already contacted suppliers. I'm looking at improvements and differentiation. And I want to be, if you can be the first or second to the market with that upgraded newest version, then you're really going to have a really high chance for success in setting yourself apart. Okay, so look at the red line, look at your main competitor's BSR sales history. Make sure that that red line stays low, especially in spring and summer. We want to see the BSR stay below 50,000, hopefully throughout the whole year. If it goes to 75,000 in the middle of winter, but it drops down below 30,000 or 50,000 the rest of the year, then that's fine. The product in particular I'm looking at now, it's used for cooking, food on the grill. And the food on the grill, so it's making money right now, which surprised me. I came across it yesterday, and the market looks really good. I mean, I know that this product is mostly used outdoors because most people have their grill outside, but it's still making like $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 right now in the middle of winter. So I know by the time I start reaching out to suppliers, get the product a custom sample ordered, get the product shipped and delivered to the Amazon warehouse, and I launch the product, I'm going to be in spring. And so I know that my revenues are probably going to be at least double what they are doing right now, because it'll be spring and then it'll be summer. Joe has a great question. What do you do with suppliers that have bad English? So this is a really really hard one because it's hard to tell when you reach out to suppliers. It's hard to tell if they're using a translation service. When you send them messages in English, are they using a translation service, and then are they responding to you because they actually understand your English, or are they using a translation to put your English into Chinese and then responding in Chinese and then translating it back into English? What I found is about 60% of the time the suppliers do speak English, and I've had some suppliers who speak horrible English, but their product's phenomenal. I've also had suppliers before that speak great English. Their response time, their communication, super quick and really efficient. They get back to me within 24 hours. Their English is clear as day. I can communicate with them really, really easily. But their product was crap. I mean, it just was not good. So that's just why it's so important to order samples. You've always got to order samples for your product to make sure you're getting a really high quality product. And I personally order samples from at least 2 different suppliers over in China and 1 or 2 samples from my competitors on Amazon. So I'll order like my top 2 competitors' products on Amazon, and I'll get that product to my house. I'll look at their packaging. I'll look at their product insert. I'll look at my competitor's product and their design and what color they offer, what materials it made out of. I've even had a product where I've sent the competitor's product that I bought myself off Amazon. I've sent that product that I bought off Amazon from one of my main competitors of a product I was going to go into, or a niche I was going to go into. I ordered it off Amazon from my competitor, got it to my house. I took notes, took pictures for my reference, and then I wanted it replicated and done because it was done so well that I sent it off to a supplier in China and they replicated it. So know that that's also an option. If you're having a hard time communicating back and forth with your supplier on improvements, differentiation, custom things that need to be done to the product to set yourself apart, add value, and set yourself up to make massive sales, is take lots of pictures of your competitor's product and order it off Amazon. And if they still don't get it after seeing the pictures of the actual product that you send them, then send them the product. Ask them, can you mail them the sample of this product that you want replicated? Exactly what you want done to it. If you're having a hard time communicating back and forth, that's one thing you can do. Like I said, it's like 60% of the time the suppliers, the English I can understand and they're pretty responsive. And again, I've had suppliers who had great English, had bad products. I've had suppliers who've had awful products or good products, but they spoke horrible English. So it's really hard to tell, but the best way to get around getting a bad product or communication issues is to order that custom sample, order samples, multiple rounds of samples if needed, and then send them a drawing or an illustration you've done or pictures you've got taken of the competitor's product if you have them, or just mail the physical product to them from your competitor, mail that sample to them directly to their factory or warehouse in China, and have them keep you updated on what improvements they can do to it. Can they replicate this? Yes or no, or do you need to find a new supplier? Hugo's got another great question. If you find a supplier that's selling a product and has a lot of buyers, is this a good sign that it's a good product? So if you find a supplier that's selling a product and it has a lot of buyers, is it a good sign that it's a good product? So I think what you're asking there is if you see the product over and over and over and over on Alibaba and it's not so much on Amazon, that's helpful. It doesn't mean it's necessarily a good sign. But ideally, we'd like to find a product that's on Amazon. Remember, whatever product you're coming across, or potential product you're going to invest into and launch, you want to see 5 pages of results or less of relevant. When you type in the main keyword or the name of your product, you want to see less than 5 pages of relevant results. So you don't want to see more than like 6, 7, 8, 9 pages of the same exact product and design over and over and over. Let's say you type in the name of your product or a product idea that a potential product idea, you type it in on Amazon, it looks good, there's only a couple sellers, and then you go on Alibaba and there's a ton of suppliers for it. Okay, that's not necessarily a bad sign. It just means that sourcing it will be a little bit easier. Now, if you're looking for products and doing product research on Alibaba, and you see a product that there's a ton of suppliers for this product on Alibaba, you see it over and over and over on Alibaba, it could be dangerous to go into that product, because if you don't see it, if you see it a ton on Alibaba, like over and over and over, there's like dozens and dozens of this product and suppliers on Alibaba, be very careful, because it could mean that it's about to get oversaturated on Amazon. So that could be the case as well. So I know I have some students and some people, and I even used to do it when I first got started, where I would actually do product research instead of on Amazon. I would also do product research on Alibaba, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just you got to be very careful for those cheap, inexpensive products that are all on Alibaba over and over and over, day and day and day in. You see the same products advertised on Alibaba, and there's dozens and dozens and dozens of suppliers for that product. You have to be very careful, because it could mean that those suppliers on Alibaba are about to launch that product on Amazon if they haven't already. And so just make sure that you're checking when you're doing product research. I usually like to stay on Amazon's platform. I have a new video coming out in a day or so. And this new video is going to be on product research and how I'm finding these amazing potential product ideas that have, 35, 40% profit margin before PPC, 100% ROI, $10 profit per unit. And one of the main things that I found, launching 9 FBA products, is that the products that have a little bit of higher of a price point always seem to do better for me. So instead of a product that sells on Amazon for $19.99 or $15.99, all day, and then try to launch into that category or that price point, it can get pretty competitive and pretty saturated pretty quick. Doesn't mean there's not opportunities out there for products that are only selling for, 15 to 30 bucks, because there are some good products in that price point. But what I found and what I look for now are products that sell around $45 or higher. Now, for a lot of you, that's not going to be possible to start with a product that sells on Amazon for $40, $50, $60, $70, $80, $90, because you're going to be spending, $10, $15, $20, $30 a unit to source the product from a supplier. So just always be thinking while you're doing product research, going the extra step, going outside the boundaries, outside the product research criteria. Be looking in spaces and looking at products that other sellers are not. So instead of always using the same filters, like a product that sells on Amazon for $15 to $35, look at products that start at $35 and go up to $75. Does that make sense? Okay, Joe, thanks for the comment. I love the live content. Thanks for the information. Joe, thank you so much for being here. I love that you're here. How are your students doing? Thank you for asking, Joe, how my students are doing. I'm so happy you're here today, Joe, and Brian, and Hugo, and Jack, and anyone else that joins. My students are doing really good. I've got several students who have just recently launched within the last month. I have a couple ladies who are doing really amazing. One is Jen. I won't say her last name. Jen. She lives in Australia. She just launched her product, and right off the bat, she was only selling. She didn't have any reviews for a while, and she was only selling, like maybe 3 to 5 to 8 units a day. And then we got her a couple reviews, and as she's starting to get more reviews and reviews and reviews, she's only got like 3 or 4 reviews now, but she's selling like 15 to 25 units a day of this product that's in a really unique category. I think it's in beauty and personal care. And in the very beginning, before she started working with me, she wasn't selling very much. She had already launched this product and it wasn't selling very well. And then I started working with her, and we got more reviews. We optimized the listing together. We looked at her photos. We came out with a competitive price point. And man, she's killing it. She's crushing it. She's doing like anywhere between 15 and 30 units a day. And we've also got PPC going on her product. She's been able to lighten up a little bit on her daily budgets. And she's doing really, really well. And she's only got like 3 or 4 reviews. But I helped her optimize her listing. I helped her optimize her photos. We talked about, the best type of reviews to get, and that you need verified full price sales versus heavily discounted sales. and she's really, really doing good. And I'm really happy for her. She's got a really cool, unique product, and she's about to launch her second. Then I have another student, first name starts with a B. She's doing really, really well too. So what I see is a common theme for my students that do really, really well, and products that do really well for me and my Amazon business, are people and products that you go a little bit of an extra step. You go a little bit outside of what a normal person would do. So you either customize the product a little bit more or better, you innovate a little bit differently, you attack the category and the niche by offering the most premium, best version of the product possible. Now, that doesn't mean you have to, spend a ton of money and get a really expensive product and pay a ton of money for custom box packaging and all these improvements and upgrades that are going to cost a lot. It just means that you pay attention to the details. So pay attention to the details. Make sure you order, samples, multiple rounds of samples if needed, to make sure you have a really good quality supplier and that you're offering a premium product. It's so important. And then come up with a really clever and unique and a good brand name that differentiates you in the market. So I personally, I like to go, when it comes to branding products, I like to come up with individual brands for specific categories versus coming up with a brand name that's more general, where I can launch like a bunch, where you launch like a bunch of different products under one general brand name. And then you have like 4 different products under this one general brand name, like, Brian's Wholesale. And then you launch like a bunch of different products in different categories. What I rather do, and what I do now, is I come up with a brand name depending on the category. So if I'm going to launch a product in pet supplies, I come up with a brand name that would make sense for pet supplies, like Dog Buddy. And then I launch 1 or 2 or 3 products under that brand in that specific category. Then if I'm going to launch a product in like home and kitchen or baby, I'd come up with a different brand name that catches the customer's attention. And number 2, I have graphics done and logos done, branding done that sets myself apart. Okay, that'll set myself apart and make the customer be a no-brainer to choose my product over my competition, because I branded the product really well. You need to also connect to your customer on some emotional level. So if you ever come across one of my listings of one of my products on Amazon, I don't always typically just do the standard, normal photos, normal title, normal bullet points, normal description. What I like to do is connect to the customer on some emotional level. So usually in like the 4th or 5th bullet point, I'll relate it back to them on how this product will make their life better and how my product solves their problem that they have, or solves a problem they didn't even know they had. So as an example, I have a product that you wouldn't necessarily think this is an issue, but I have a chart, I have a diagram as one of my images, one of my last images for my product photos. And it says this competitor 1, competitor 2, competitor 3. And then the beginning says my product. And then my product has all these green check marks that it solves all these problems. And then my competitor 1, competitor 2, competitor 3 has like a red X, a red X, a red X, like it doesn't have all these features and benefits. So it really just speaks to the customer like, wow, okay, yeah, this is a great product. Like it solves all these issues and all these problems, and it has all these benefits that I didn't even know I needed in this product. But why wouldn't I want to have them, and why wouldn't I want to buy his over all the others? And so, yeah, so that was just a couple examples of how my students doing. They're doing really well. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about PPC. So, PPC is going to be a little bit expensive in the beginning, but with the PPC campaigns that I've been able to set up for my own products and help my students set up, almost all of them are cash flow positive, which usually for the first month or 2, PPC, you're going to like barely break even, or you're gonna have to spend a little bit to start ranking and using PPC. But I've got like a 99 or 95% success rate on my own products and my students' products, setting up PPC campaigns, multiple different PPC campaigns, and having them be actually cash flow positive for launch, which means the amount we spend or are spending on ads is less than how much we made in sales. So it doesn't always work out where you spend $20 a day and you make $40 a day. So you made $20 that day. but maybe you spent 20, but you sold 40, or you sold 20, so it broke even. But I'm having a lot of success helping my students set up their PPC campaigns to be profitable, even in launch, which is awesome. And even for my own products, one of the PPC campaigns that I'm really working at right now on mastering, and that I'm really finding very cost effective, is product targeting. And so if you don't know what product targeting PPC campaigns are, there's basically 3 types of PPC campaigns that we can use when we first launch your product. Number one, we can use automatic. In automatic PPC campaigns, we say, okay, Amazon, here's our product. Here's a budget. Go advertise it for us. That's automatic PPC. Then number 2 is a manual PPC campaign. A manual PPC campaign is where we give Amazon these keywords, we bid on the keywords, and we say, these are the keywords associated with our product. Go spend this money and advertise for those specific keywords. And those manual campaigns are very effective for launching and ranking. So you want to always have a master keyword list for your top 10 to 50 keywords related to your product with a search volume anywhere from like 5 to 15,000. I found that specific range for keywords that have a search volume between 5 and 15,000 are the most cost-effective keywords to advertise for and try to rank for. They're not as competitive as the keywords that have 30 or 40 or 50,000 monthly search volume, but they're also not keywords that only have like 1,000 or 2,000 search volume, that they're not going to be relevant or make any sales or get any traffic. So there's automatic, there's manual, and then there's product targeting. And I'm finding product targeting PPC to be the most cost effective. So I have a product that I just launched where I'm using only manual exact match, best top 5 keywords on a manual campaign. And then I also have this product targeting, and I just launched this product. Okay. I just launched this product. I spent $200 on product targeting, spent $200 in the first couple weeks, but I made $600 in sales. And so the reason why product targeting is so effective is I go out there for product targeting PPC. I go out there and I pick losers, and not necessarily like loser sellers. I'm talking about like loser products. So I look for a couple things when I'm setting up these product targeting PPC campaigns. I'm looking at, number one, you can just, if you don't want to, or you don't know how to customize this in Black Box or Cerebro and get these specific ones for product targeting, you can just type in your main keyword for your product. Just type in your main keyword for your product, bring it up on Amazon, and then go up to the top right to your Helium 10 extension and hit ASIN Grabber. Hit ASIN Grabber, download that as a CSV, and now you have all of these ASINs that are related to your product. And then you can put all those ASINs into a product targeting campaign. And product targeting campaigns, I'm finding, are like the cheapest to use and the most effective. Like I said, I just launched a product. I spent $200, but I made $600 in sales. I also have another student who we're using product targeting, and it's really effective. We spent $300, but we made $600 in sales as well, around $650. So product targeting campaigns are really effective and most cost efficient, is what I'm trying to say. But so there's 2 ways you can set these up and try them. Number one, ASIN Grabber, using Helium 10 and just your main keyword, ASIN Grabber, in the top right of the Helium 10 extension. That way you can get all the ASINs related to your product. Or what I do is I go inside Helium 10's Black Box and I type in my product and I look under the products tab, but I put in products that are, like have less reviews than my product has. So if my product has 10 reviews, I go into Black Box and look for products that are similar to mine, but have less than 10 reviews, because I can beat out and win the sale almost every time. But it's really important that when you're looking for loser competitors' products that only have less reviews than you need to also make sure that they have traffic. So you don't want to just be using an ASIN of any and every product that's similar to yours that just has less reviews. You also need to sort it by and make sure that the listing is getting traffic. So are they making like 300 sales a month, but they only have 9 reviews? That would be a great ASIN to target in a product targeting campaign. Okay. It's a trend. Ryan, thanks for being here. I see Ryan's in the chat. Thanks, Ryan. I don't know product situation personally, but if I notice a trend with the time of day that my product sells, is there a way to optimize PPC for a certain time of day? So great question, Ryan, about PPC and optimizing your PPC campaigns. There's basically two ways to optimize PPC. There's not specifically any way to optimize it for a certain time of day other than to reset your budget about 24 hours ahead. You want to reset your budget about 24 hours ahead of when you set up the campaign. So if you set up the campaign like right now, then let it run. Then it'll like reset within 24 hours. So if you go in right now on one of your campaigns and up the budget by $5 or $10, about 24 hours from now, it should really start to take effect. But there's no certain way to optimize your PPC for a specific time of day. The only thing, and I know we constantly get these messages from Amazon saying your PPC is out of budget, your PPC is out of budget. They want you to spend more, but there's two ways to optimize your PPC campaign. So I always recommend 2 automatic and 2 manual PPC campaigns when you first launch. And then you want to monitor those after about 7 to 10 days, how they're doing. Take down the budget on the ones that are costing too much and up the budget on the ones that are making you the most sales. So there's no way to optimize for a certain time or period in the day. Just make sure that your budget is adequate. If you're getting the email from Amazon that your budget's running out before like 12 noon, and you notice most of your sales are coming in between like 3 and 9 p.m., then you should up your budget on that campaign and lower your budget on another campaign that's not running as well. So that's one way, is you can adjust the daily budgets. The other way is to go into the campaigns and edit them and adjust the bid. So there's a default bid. If you're doing automatic, there's like a default bid. You can adjust the bid up or down. Up if you want to be more aggressive and get more sales and potentially get your ad out to more people, and then lower the bid if you're trying to optimize and spend less on PPC. The other way to optimize PPC is to download the PPC campaign reports. Download your PPC campaign reports, and inside the Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheets with your PPC report, you can see all the keywords that are bringing in sales. And what I like to look for are keywords that have a high click-through rate and a low ACoS. And I can put those keywords into a brand new PPC campaign. Okay, that's really effective. Also, what you can do is if you're running PPC campaigns and you've been running long enough that you have multiple reports, is you can go through and pull keywords that are too expensive to advertise for. So any keywords that have an ACoS of like over 60%, you can just put those into negative keyword targeting at the very bottom of your campaign. So go ahead and put keywords that have like 100% ACoS, 160% ACoS, 95% ACoS. Put those into a negative keyword targeting down below. Edit the campaign, and then you won't advertise for those keywords any longer. And that way you can let your daily budget go longer, and you won't have such as an expensive PPC budget, or you won't have to spend so much. Okay, Joseph, I really appreciate the comment, Joseph. Thank you so much. Hit the like button, everyone. This is great information. I appreciate Joseph being here. I appreciate Jack being here. I appreciate Ryan being here. I appreciate Hugo being here. Jack, Ryan, Joe, Hugo, I know he was looking forward to. Hugo, I want to know how your product's doing. Hugo, I think we talked and you said you were just about to launch your product. Update me, leave me a comment. Where is your product currently at right now? Is it in production phase? Are your suppliers already gone on Chinese New Year? Have you ordered a custom sample? Is it about to get to the Amazon warehouse? I'd love to hear where you're at. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, more about product research, product selection. Maybe you're thinking about your second product, your third product. But before I do, let's talk a little bit more about picking the best suppliers. So I have a couple students who are struggling with, and I know I have struggled with finding the best suppliers. And so how do you fix that? So, it's really cool. Alibaba is, a huge worldwide company that connects us with suppliers and manufacturers from around the world, across the globe. It's so cool that just about for any product we come across, we can find a supplier. The downside is it's not always the best suppliers that are listed on Alibaba. And so you really have to be careful when you're selecting your suppliers. You need to make sure that you're looking at a couple things. So let's say you were going to be launching a chip and dip serving set, which looks good. Just came across this product. I'll have a video coming out soon on how I found this product, what new product research methods I'm using. And this product is doing about $6,000-$7,000 a month revenue. That's $3,000 a month profit. And so chip and dip serving set, you can check that out. But when I look for suppliers on this, also I have another tip for you as well. So you can actually download this Chrome extension called Source Now. Source Now Chrome extension. Go search that up and download it to your computer. And install it to your Chrome browser. This Source Now Chrome extension is really cool. When you're on Amazon doing product research, you can actually just click this Source Now button, and it'll take you directly to Alibaba and show you all of the suppliers for this product. So that's a big tip I got from Bunbo, one of my students. Bunbo, I don't know if you're watching, but thank you so much for sharing that with me. It's so cool. And I think that's just awesome. You can just install this Source Now Chrome extension. And when you're on Amazon, you run across a potentially good FBA product. You just click this Source Now button and it takes you directly to Alibaba and shows you all the different suppliers. Now, to get back to my point about choosing the best suppliers to work with, I look at a couple of things. The first thing I'm looking at is the picture. Like, what does the picture of their product look like? Does it look like a high quality picture? The second thing is, what's their price point? Do they give a huge price range, like $5 to $50? I usually don't like to work with suppliers that are that vague. If they show me a price range of $5 to $50, that's no help at all. Also, I just came across an article that was showing me that most of these suppliers on Alibaba, what they do is they put the lowest price point that anyone could potentially charge, any supplier could potentially charge for that product. They put this lowball price point on the product. And they do that so you click on them and contact them. But then when you contact them, they jack up the price. And then you wasted all this time going back and forth with a supplier who, number one, basically lied to you in the beginning, telling you they had the product for really cheap. And really, it's going to be way more expensive than you anticipated. So I like to look for suppliers who have a good quality first image. Their product looks good quality. They don't give me a vague, huge price range like $5 to $50. They do something more, specific, a 2.98 to 5.93. Like, that's more specific. Or they just specifically list 500 units, $4.98 per unit. Okay. So I look at their picture. I look at their price point. What's their minimum order quantity? Some suppliers I'm finding, they want an MOQ of like 1,000 or 6,000 pieces. I don't even respond. I just say simply, sorry, that's way too much. I want to order for my first product, first test order with this product. Okay. So if they're not willing to work with you on their MOQ, then just move on to your next supplier. Okay. Because we're not going to order 1,000 units for a first test order to launch a new product. I usually recommend a first order of around 500 units or less to start with. One other thing that you may not have heard me mention or talk about before is I actually will launch 2 products simultaneously. So instead of ordering 500 units of a product and going all out on that one, I'm actually doing something where I'm ordering 250 units of product A, 250 units of product B, launching them almost simultaneously, and then finding out which one sells out quicker or which one takes off better. And then I know which one to reorder and really optimize on and go all in on. It still means that it doesn't mean you don't have to differentiate or just throw up products and see how they do and hope they sell. But it is an option too, where you can find a supplier that will still innovate and improve the product, add value, do your customization requests. They'll do the customizations. They'll make the product better. They'll brand the product with your logo and your brand. And then instead of ordering 500 units of just this one product, sometimes what I do is I order 250 units of product A, 250 units of product B, and then get them launched, get them into Amazon's warehouse and see which one sells faster. And then I know which one to reorder. Usually I'm pretty good at picking products now. I have a good idea and good understanding of what products do well, what products don't do well, what products are going to be expensive to launch and advertise for. And so I have a pretty good idea on how to do product research correct. And I have a new video that'll be coming out in a day or two, going over some of the new product research methods I'm using. But I'm really into right now for product research using Amazon's platform to do my product research. I still love Black Box. Don't get me wrong. Black Box is still one of my favorite product research methods, or the Jungle Scout web app. But Amazon's platform itself is powerful, because you can actually go on Amazon and go to their deals page, or their best sellers list, or their new release list. And there you have Amazon telling you exactly what products are selling the best, which ones are selling the most. And I even go into a little bit more competitive niches and competitive products. Right, as of right now, I don't only go into products that the majority of the listings are like under 150 reviews. I will compete against sellers that have 500, 800, even in some cases 1,000 reviews, because I know, like, I really get in there and I understand the target customer, what they're using the product for, how to make the product better, how to brand the product really well, and how to launch the product most effectively, so I show up on the first and second page of search results. So that's one other tip that you guys can use is instead of just going all in 500 units on one product, order 250 units of a product A and 250 units of a product B and launch them pretty close together. And then whichever one sells quicker, you know which one to reorder. Now, that doesn't mean you can't just, and it doesn't mean you should just copy and paste like the same product. You don't want to just copy and paste the same product as your competitor. You still need to innovate, differentiate yourself, add value, and brand the product really well. And usually you'll be able to find a supplier that will do that for you. Just let them know you need to start with a lower test order, initial first order. So Chinese New Year coming up, it's difficult because some of my suppliers are only gone for 10 days and some of my suppliers are gone for 6 weeks. So it's like, what do? I have a product that I'm waiting on a shipment. I thought it was going to be ready to be shipped out before Chinese New Year, and now they're telling me that they have to redo it, redo the enamel coating on the top part of it. So I'm going to have to wait. And so, yeah, it can be frustrating having to wait on the supplier. But the only thing you can really be working on is just optimizing your listing, making sure your listing is set up and ready to go. You're optimized on the front end. You're optimized on the back end. If you guys have any questions about who I use for my product photography, who I use for all my graphics, logos, images, product insert cards, you're more than welcome to message me. I'd be happy to send you the resources that I use in my Amazon business, because he and she both do a really good job. Okay, Joe has another great question. Speaking of the budget, this may be a large question to get started. You have your YouTube channel to explain. What is your honest opinion to start at your entry level? Okay, so I think what Joe's asking is 1, 2, or 3,000 realistic for launching a product. So great question. It's one of the questions that I see get asked most is, how much do I need to budget for launching my first product? So it just depends on the product and how competitive the space is. Now, I was talking a little bit earlier about maybe you, instead of ordering 500 units, you order 250 units of the first product and 250 units of another product and launch both of them simultaneously to see which one sells better. So that's always an option. But I'd say realistically, you're going to need around $2,000 to get started. And it can be less than that. It can be more than that. It just is going to depend on your product sourcing cost. But I have a great video actually on my YouTube channel where I went over kind of step by step, like the optional cost of starting an Amazon business, like optional charges that you'll have to pay. Like, do you really need an LLC registration? Do you really need a business insurance? Do you really need the professional selling plan? Like, I have a great video. I think I broke down, like, here's the exact bare minimum cost, and then here's the optional cost. And so I would say with a budget of around $2,000, you should be able to launch your first product. Now, remember, if you've started product research, which I hope you have, you've started product research. I have a product research flow chart. So when I'm doing my product research, I look at a couple of things. I look at what do I expect to make back from my initial investment. So if I put $2,000 in, how much can I expect to get back out as far as ROI, net profit per unit, and profit margin? But I would say around $2,000 will get you started. Now, the good part is right here, Joe, is we're going into Chinese New Year. So if you found a product, which hopefully you have a couple really good FBA products in mind right now, you've started doing product research, you can start reaching out to suppliers and getting prices and start negotiating with them and getting the details and talking about improvements, and order a custom sample, which will only be like $50 to $150 to get that custom sample ordered. And then they're going to be gone for like a minimum of like 2 to 6 weeks. So you have like another month and a half to save some money from your new job or from a job to save money to invest in that first product. Maybe to get the hang of things and just make your first sale and prove to yourself that this business is worthwhile and that you can make money with your Amazon business. Maybe look for a product that sells on Amazon for around $20 that only cost around $3 to $5 to source, and then really spend some time innovating, making it the best possible version of that product, and find a supplier on Alibaba that's willing to do a low initial test order. Maybe you can find a supplier that will let you order 100 units to start with, and you can order 100 units, and you only have to pay 30% deposit on that 2,000, and then the other 70% in 4 to 6 weeks. So you can space out your costs. I know when I first got started with my Amazon business, saving up $1,500 at the time, I needed $1,600 is what I think. No, my first product launch, everything all in for photos, account setup, barcodes, listing optimization. I mean, everything, softwares was around $2,600. But I could have done it for a lot cheaper if I would have known some things that I know now. But look for a product that you can source relatively, inexpensive, $3 to $5 per unit. Find a supplier, contact suppliers, let them know that don't give it away that this is your first time launching a product on Amazon, or that this is your first product, because then they'll try to take advantage of you. But let them know that you are an established brand, you're expanding your product line, and you'd like to do a first initial test run or a test order of a low MOQ or a low order to start with of like 100, 150 units. And that shouldn't cost more than like $1,000 to $1,500. Maybe even lower. If you can find a supplier that'll do 100 units and the cost is $3 a unit, you're at $300 plus maybe $300 for shipping. You can get it done for like $600, $700, and you have 100 units at the Amazon warehouse. And then the only other costs on top of that would be product photography for like $250, a logo for $20, barcodes for like $12 to $50, and the account setup for $39.99, and then a product insert card design for like $10. Okay, let's see what other questions I have here. Hugo, thanks for being here again. Hugo, his product is being shipped to the Amazon warehouse. They'll take about 2 weeks to get to Amazon. So that's awesome, man. I'm so happy that you decided to go into a product. You found a product. You talked to suppliers. You ordered a product that's, way more than most Amazon people that are interested in Amazon get. They don't get to the part where they start contacting suppliers. They order a sample. They place a deposit. They start production. So you're already way ahead of the majority of people who are looking or thinking about starting an Amazon business. So about 2 weeks until the product will be to Amazon. So hopefully you went with C shipping, DDP. It sounds like it may be closer to 4 weeks, but regardless, whether it's 2 weeks, if you went with air shipping, if it's a lightweight product, or it's 4 weeks, hopefully you're just working on your listing at this point. So getting with that sample you ordered, or 1 unit that you can have sent from your supplier ahead of time, getting your photos done, great high quality images. The first image needs to be the best on the first page. You want it to stand out. And then your other photos are really good as well. And then just work on your title and your bullet points and your description. And again, in your bullet points, make sure they're optimized with keywords, as well as a few main keywords in your title. And then on the back end, in search terms, under keywords tab, under edit on your listing. So just be working on getting your listing ready. Start watching PPC videos, learning how to set up PPC, learning about launch. What are the best launch strategies that are working in 2020? And you'll be on your way to start making that first sale and start making money. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe, so much. Please hit the thumbs up button, guys, if you're here watching and you haven't done so already. Joe, what is a flow chart? Okay, Joe. So I think what I'll do is I'll send that to you, Joe, and anybody else that would like that flow chart, just leave me a message. The flow chart, I wish I could share my screen on here, but I don't think I can. But the flow chart is a product flow chart where it has like a box at the top and it shows this is our potential product idea. Does it meet this requirement? And then it goes down step by step by step by step. And it's basically like a big funnel or a big filter that we make sure that the potential product idea we're thinking of going into meets the specific criteria. Like if we want a product that generates a minimum of $3,000 per month profit, we need a product that has a profit margin of $10 per unit. We need a product that sells a minimum of 300 sales per month. We need a product that overall has a low BSR of like 50,000 or less. We need a product that the majority of the sellers on the first page or in the top 10 to 15 listings, like 5 or 7 or more, have 150 review counts or less so that we can be competitive. One other thing here is, if you guys don't know what sales velocity is how many units per day that the seller is selling of that one product. And sales velocity is really important because when you first launch your product, you are in what's called the honeymoon period. The honeymoon period is like the first 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks after your product gets to the Amazon warehouse and you launch. That's the honeymoon period. You have to prove to Amazon that your product is a good product and it sells well. And you do that by making as many sales as you can per day. And sales velocity is important because to get ranked and when you first launch a product, you may be on the first or second page, like the same day your product becomes live or active. Or you could be on the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th page, depending on how you show Amazon does your product sell well or not. So that's where sales velocity is so important, because if the last couple sellers on the first page, the last couple sellers down there on the bottom of the first page, if they're doing, and you can use Helium 10 X-ray or the 999 cart trick method to track how many units per day are they selling. Usually it'll be anywhere from like 5 to 50 units a day. If the last couple sellers on the bottom of the first page are doing 15 sales a day, 12 sales a day, 5 sales a day, average those 3 out, which would be like 10, and you need to make a minimum of 10 sales per day to rank to the first page. That's how Amazon determines who's on the first page. And the first page is that acclaimed, huge prosperous area, the first, second page of where customers make their purchases, and that's where we want to get your product, is to the first or second page, that you get organic sales, and then you can lay off PPC once you start ranking close to the first or second page. Hi, Bianca. Thank you for being here. When do you recommend starting that? When first launching a product or right away? Bianca, great question. Thank you for being here today on the live stream. Bianca, she asked about PPC. Is it great to turn on PPC as soon as your product hits Amazon? As soon as you have 1 unit available, should you turn on PPC, or should you wait until you have reviews? And my opinion is, I don't like to turn on PPC at all until I have a minimum of 3 to 6 5-star reviews. Usually I get those from friends and family. Be very careful though. Friends and family that don't have the same last name as you, don't live in the same household, have not used your Wi-Fi before, and so not friends and family for the first 5 reviews, can't have the same last name, can't be in the same household, and you have to temporarily delete them off Facebook and Instagram as friends. So once you have your first 3 to even 6 reviews, 5-star reviews, and make sure you space those friends and family reviews out. So over instead of like having 5 friends and family members buy the same day and then leave a review in 2 days later, try to space them out a little bit. So like a day or 2 in between friends and family purchase, and then a review. And then search, find, buy is the best way. Search, find, buy. So don't tell your friends and family to just type in the name of your product and your brand. And also don't just give them a link to your product on Amazon. Don't just give your friends and family members a link and say, here's my link to my product, go buy it, unless it's a two-step URL. You want them to search, find, buy, which means they go on Amazon.com. They type in the name of your product, not the brand name of your product, just the name of your product. Let's say you sell a silicone dog mat or a silicone mat. They type in silicone mat and then they go page by page by page by page until they find your product on the third page or the fourth page, and then they buy it. So don't provide them a link unless it's a two-step URL, which you can get through helium10/gyms, or they need to search, find, buy. Okay, so that's how we rank, and that's how we get closer to the first page. Once you have your first 3 to 6 5-star reviews, usually it comes in from friends and family, then it's time to turn on PPC, because there's been studies on this. And even as soon as you have one review, even one review on your listing, a one review, 5-star review, a 1 5-star review, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, more the better, of course, your listing is going to convert like automatically way better. As soon as you have like 3 5-star reviews, then I would recommend turning on PPC. And in the very beginning, what I recommend is doing 2 automatic and 2 manual PPC campaigns. 2 automatic, 1 at 15 a day, 1 at 20 a day, 1 manual PPC campaign at about $15 to $30 a day for your best top keyword, which would be dog mat or silicone mat. And then another PPC campaign manual for your top 10 broad to phrase keywords. So dog feeding mat, food bowl mats, mats for dogs. So those types of longer tail keywords. I'm watching myself on the replay and I'm noticing that I'm moving my hands a lot. Next question. Okay. Thank you, Joe. 16 watching now. Hit that like button. Brian is very knowledgeable. Great information. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I sure appreciate it. I'm going to go and answer a couple more questions, and then we'll wrap up my first live stream ever. Is Amazon getting too competitive? Okay, so is Amazon getting too competitive? You know, this question comes up over and over and over, and Amazon is Amazon has never not been competitive. Is basically my answer. So is Amazon too competitive? Yes or no? Amazon has always not been competitive. I mean, it's always been competitive to sell on Amazon, but the way we get around that and the way you succeed and launch a product and make money and be able to leave your job and do Amazon full time like I've been able to do is product selection. It's so important that you do product research correct and you don't go into a product that everyone else is selling or everybody else knows about, or that you try to just launch the same exact product as everyone else, okay? And I know it sounds so basic, like, is Amazon too competitive? It's always been competitive. Don't sell the same products as everyone else. But it really just comes down to thinking outside the box a little bit, looking at products and finding products not everyone else has found out about yet, and then really understanding who's using this product, what for, and reading through all of the negative reviews, all of them, and finding out what you can improve about the product with. What can you make different? What can you make better? And that's how you succeed on Amazon. Now, I don't recommend you have to worry about building out this huge brand on Amazon. I know I see a lot of conflicting opinions out there on should you build a brand on Amazon. Now, in the beginning, I don't think it's necessary for you to worry about building this huge $1 million brand with 10 different products. Of course, it's important to think long-term about if you launch this first product, where can you go next? And I always have my next 2 to 5 products lined up or in the works at all times. But just because I launch one product under a brand doesn't mean I have to launch all the other products under the same brand or in the same category. So in the beginning, I recommend just focusing on and diving into understanding product research, finding a good, profitable Amazon FBA product that you can differentiate well. You can enter the market as a new seller, start making sales right out of the gate, and worry about building a brand later, right? We're in this to make money. We're in this to make a full-time income eventually, but just try to find products that make income every single month and that are profitable. Okay, thank you, Bianca, for the great comment. I'm so happy. Jack's still here, Travis, Ivan, Joe, Ryan, Hugo. Thank you guys for all being here. Let's add, we see another one here. Okay, hi, Brian. I've been running 2 PPC campaigns, 1 manual, 1 automatic for a day, and I have 2 5-star reviews, but I have no sales till now. What do you suggest? Okay, Ivan, thank you for being here, and a great question. I've been running 2 PPC campaigns, 1 manual, 1 automatic for 1 day, and I have had 2 5-star reviews, but I have no sales. Okay, well, it's a good thing that you've got a couple things going for you, Ivan. The first thing is you have reviews. It's huge that you have a couple 5-star reviews. Automatically, you are going to get more sales and more customers just because you have those reviews now. Your listing is going to convert better. You've got 2 5-star reviews now. So now it's time to kind of ramp up your PPC a little bit, but I hope that you have profitable PPC campaigns going. So I've been helping my students, and I've been setting up 2 automatic, 2 manual PPC campaigns and a product targeting campaign. And actually all of the campaigns that I'm helping set up and that I've been doing are cash flow positive, which is what we're aiming for, the spend to be lower than the sales. I don't have any sales till now. What do you suggest? So I have 2 PPC campaigns, 1 manual, 1 automatic. Okay. Now that you have 2 5-star reviews, Ivan, I would put 1 automatic going at $15 a day. The default bid is probably going to be at like 72 cents. Take it up to $1.52. So 1 automatic, $15 or $20 a day, up the default bid by like at least 30 or 40%. So there's 1. Number 2, your next manual PPC campaign, put in your top 1 to 5 best keywords for the name of your product and do it as exact, broad, and phrase match. So if your product is can opener, do a automatic $15 or $20 a day, go higher on the default bid by 30 or 40%. That's your first campaign setup now. Your second campaign, manual, broad, phrase, exact, PPC campaign manual, and put in your top 5 best keywords. So if your product was can opener, do manual can opener stainless steel, best can opener for seniors. That's just an example of what the other related keywords may be, but do a manual campaign with your top best 5 keywords and select exact, phrase, and broad. Check all 3 of those boxes and put your best top 5 keywords. Then do another campaign now for product targeting. Type in your product on Amazon. So if your product was can opener, type in on Amazon can opener, go to the top right, use Helium 10 and get the ASIN grabber. Download all those ASINs as a CSV file. Go into your campaign manager, and now it's time to set up a product targeting PPC campaign. It's a manual, $15 a day. Let it run for 2 weeks. Product targeting, enter list, and enter in all those ASINs to advertise for. You can do it that way where it's just a general product targeting, or you can go on Amazon and look at your competitors who have lower reviews than you or have a lesser quality product than you, have lower images than you, have a worse listing than you, and plug in those ASINs into a product targeting campaign. Okay, Travis, thanks for being here. Hi, Travis. I'm using Rebate Key for the first time on my launch. I was wondering, when making the Helium 10 Gems links, should I use keywords related to high competing products to start ranking or low? Great question, Travis. I recommend using Helium 10's magnet or Cerebro to get the best keywords related to your product. And what I recommend looking at are keywords related to your product that are relevant, that have a search volume between 5 and 15,000. So keywords that are best related, most relevant to yours, with a search volume of around 5 to 15,000. If you have a couple keywords at the top that have 40 or 50,000, those are going to be really expensive to try to rank for. But if you have a couple really good relevant keywords with a search volume, one maybe is 12,000 search volume and one's maybe 13,000 or 15,000 search volume, I would use those 2 keywords, okay? And then create the GEMS link there, helium10.com/GEMS, and create the link or the GEMS, the 2-step URL, power URL for your keywords that have a high search volume, but not 50,000 or 30,000 search volume, a search volume like between 5 and 15,000, and try to rank for those keywords. Okay, Bianca, thank you for being here again. If someone steals your product and sells it at a cheaper price, is there any way to protect that from happening? Great question, Bianca. So this is a question kind of regarding hijackers and what can we do to prevent hijackers? The best thing to do to prevent hijackers is to brand your product really well. Until you have brand registry through the Amazon IP Accelerator program, there's no for sure way to protect yourself from not getting a hijacker. Or if you don't know what a hijacker is, that's somebody that comes on top of your listing, undercuts your price, steals the buy box, undercuts you, and starts taking your sales on your listing that you made for your private label product. The only way to really protect yourself and to prevent this is to differentiate your product good and make your product different, and brand it really well. You want your brand name on the product, somewhere on the product, has to be on the product somewhere, and the packaging. Okay. And then if you ever do get somebody that comes on, and then I've never had a hijacker for one of my products ever. I've never had a hijacker because I've always differentiated myself. I've improved the product. I've made it different. I haven't given my idea to every and all suppliers that I contacted, just the ones I work with. So I don't give out my ideas to everyone. And I brand the product really, really well. And if I ever did get a hijacker, I would lower the price so that I got the buyback, because Amazon tends to give the buy box on the listing to the person with the lowest price. And I would send a cease and desist letter to the hijacker. I would order or buy out the hijacker's inventory or buy one of their products, get it express shipped to me, take pictures of it, and then submit it to Amazon saying, this is a hijacker. They do not have permission to sell my product on my listing. And usually Amazon will take it down. Okay. So brand your product really well. So the brand name needs to be on the product as well, not just the packaging. Yes, I always recommend putting the brand name on the product itself, because the products that are susceptible and the products that tend to get hijacked and the buy box stolen and somebody comes on your listing, who steals your buy box, somebody that steals your buy box on the products, generally are products like the most common products that are all around, like Bluetooth wireless speakers, a mouse pad, like products like that, like are really generic. And if your product isn't differentiated well enough, or maybe you can't differentiate so much, at least you can have your brand on the mouse pad so that you can show Amazon and take pictures of the fake and show Amazon this seller is selling a fake version of my product, and they're not allowed to. And usually they'll take it down within 24 hours. Buy box percentage, really, buy box percentage is not that important, because you should have the buy box 100% of the time. You should never lose the buy box. So buy box percentage would only be relevant if you're doing like retail arbitrage or online arbitrage, or if you're flipping products, or if you build out such a huge brand that sometimes you have so many different products going on that you lose the buy box once in a while. A buy box percentage is sometimes important to watch then. But as a private labeler and as just one or two or three products we're selling, private label products, we should 100% always own the listing in the buy box. What is the best ways to get reviews in the beginning? My product costs more than $30. Okay. Best way, Ivan, thank you for the question. Thank you, Ryan, for the question. Bianca, thank you for the question. Travis, thanks for the questions. Mira, I'll get right back to you. Thank you, Mira, for being here. Thank you, Ivan. If your product costs over $30, the best way to get your first 5 reviews, and remember, as soon as you have like even 5 or 6 or 3 5-star reviews, you can really ramp up PPC and start to turn up, get it lit, start making good sales. But if your product costs over $30, regardless of the price, even if your product was $60, the best way in the beginning that I found is just to get friends and family. Friends and family, not the same last name, temporarily delete them off Facebook, can't be in the same household, and temporarily delete them off Instagram as well, and have them buy your product. Search, find, buy. They go on Amazon, search for your product keyword, order the product, wait for it to get to their house, then leave a review, space it out a few ways, space it out a few days in between the purchases and the reviews. That's the best way. If you want to do like a campaign where you set up rebates and giveaways, the 2 services I recommend are Zon Ranker and Roost Booster. Roost Booster and Zon Ranker are launch services, but the only two launch services that I recommend besides Rebate Key, which is similar, but Roost Booster and Zon Ranker will set up these giveaways and these rebate campaigns for you so that you can not give away totally full discounted price. They'll still be full purchase prices. The customer will receive the discount later on, so they'll get refunded later on in the rebate. But I would never go below a 40% discount. So if you have friends and family, let's say you sell a $75 product on Amazon, you can go inside your Seller Central account and go to advertising, promotions, and create a one-time use 40% off coupon, one-time use to provide to your friends and family members who can purchase your product at a 40% off discount, so you don't have to refund them later, or if the price point's an issue, I would just create a 30 or 40% off one-time use coupon code promotion, and then have them order, search, find, buy, order your product, and leave a review. Hi, Sophia. Thank you for being here. Would you recommend free giveaways in return for reviews? So Zon Ranker and Roost Booster are the only giveaways I recommend, and maybe a few people in review groups. So you have to be very cautious. There's a lot of black hat tactics going on out there. It used to be 2 years ago when I first got started on Amazon, we could give away 30 units, give away 50 units, to just about anybody and everyone, and then get reviews that way. But Amazon has cracked down so hard on authenticating reviews, verifying purchases, and finding out when we're going over our review velocity. So no more than a 10% review velocity, which means out of every 100 sales, you don't have more than 10 reviews. Okay, so be very careful. If you have 5 purchases and 5 reviews, it looks very suspicious to Amazon. So you have to be very careful if you are doing giveaways, either through Rebate Key, Facebook review groups, Jump Send, anything like that. Just make sure you're also getting full price sales in between, so it doesn't look like you're doing 3 giveaways, 3 reviews, 5 giveaways, 5 reviews. You got to space them out, and offset the discounted ones or the giveaways with full priced, authenticated, verified purchases. I always wanted to know, do you also do Shopify or just do Amazon private label? Hi, Hugo. Thank you so much for the question. I don't do Shopify. I have helped build a Shopify store, so I know what that looks like. In the very beginning, when I first got started, and I think I'm going to make a YouTube video on this. When I first got started in Amazon, I started with online arbitrage, which I use tactical arbitrage. And I found products at discount websites, and I'd buy like 2 or 3 of them there, and 5 of them there, and 2 here, and 3 there, 4 here, ship them to my house. And then I personally had to label them and package them, create the shipping plan, and send them into Amazon, then drop off the shipping box. And it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time to do online retail arbitrage, but I did make some money at it in the very beginning. So online arbitrage, retail arbitrage in the beginning, if you don't have much money, use tactical arbitrage, and you can get the hang of selling on Amazon, doing it that way. My first product was a private label product. I did do private label as my very first product I launched. My second product, however, and I want to do a YouTube video on this, I made with my own hands. So I found a product on Amazon that was selling a ton, like $60,000 a month. Couple competitors, obviously made in China, ordered their product off Amazon, got it to my house. I bought all the materials, and I made the same product, 100 of them, 100 units I made personally with my own hands in my garage. And I sent half of those into Amazon to be fulfilled by Amazon, and the other half I fulfilled as orders came in. So my first product, 100% private label from a supplier in China. My second product I ever did was half FBM, half FBA. So I want to make a YouTube video on that. In the beginning, thank you, Sophia. In the beginning, is it okay if I start with the 10 to 15% profit, or should we not compromise and go lower than 30%? If you're calculating in PPC costs, then 20 to 30% is around there is okay with PPC costs, as long as you're ranking for keywords. And you can check if you're ranking for keywords either by just searching on Amazon for the product, Just go on Amazon, search your keywords, see what page you're on, or by using Helium 10 Cerebro to keep an eye on keyword ranking for your ASIN. Where are you ranking? I wouldn't go below 20% profit with PPC. So you either need to, on your next order, lower the cost of the product or get a different supplier. So lower your costs of the product so that you can sell for a price that makes sense and make a good profit margin, or you have to raise your price after launch. So you may have to lower your price in the beginning and only make a 15, 20% profit margin. And with PPC, you're ranking, you're generating sales, you're getting reviews, and then slowly raise your price. And then hopefully your next order will be cheaper. What are your thoughts on these other gurus, these high-end, your different styles of teaching? Yeah, so I think it's helpful that there's a wide range of teachers out there. I don't like the fact that there's a couple that I won't name specifically, but as far as gurus and teachers and Amazon experts, I like the fact that there's a wide range of different opinions out there. I know when I first got started, I didn't watch just one person. I thought I was learning from the best. Obviously, that person doesn't even sell on Amazon anymore. So that's my only issue. I don't mind that there's, lots of gurus and experts and coaches and teachers out there. That's fine. I do have a problem with ones that don't sell on Amazon anymore. And two, take advantage of people and charge them ridiculous amounts of money, like $19.97 for a course or $1,000 for a course that claims to come with one-on-one mentorship, but really all you get is one weekly group call. Hi, Sanjay. Thank you for being here. What price range of product to look for while product research? So typically when people are looking for products to sell on Amazon, they're putting in a filter of anywhere from $15 to $50 as a price range. I've found, though, that products that have done the best for me are products that sell on Amazon for like $30 to $90. So if it's within your price range of a product that's, $30 to $100, look in that price range. But if you want to keep your initial cost down in the beginning, try to find a price of a product that sells on Amazon for like $20 to $40. That way your initial investment will only be like $2,000. But yeah, I always recommend looking outside the box, looking at different price ranges, different categories, different opportunities that other sellers are not looking for. And my style of mentoring. Yeah, Joe, thanks again for the comment on the mentoring and the teaching and the gurus. There are a wide range of opinions out there. And I don't mind that there being a lot of people out there that are trying to teach Amazon and show people how to sell on Amazon. My only issue is if they don't sell on Amazon anymore themselves, or they sell you $1,000 course that claims to come with one-on-one mentorship, but really doesn't. Comes with one group call a week, and you talk to some virtual assistant located overseas. Do you recommend creating a brand for a first-time seller, first product, or wait a bit? Bianca, great question. Wait on having to build a brand. Don't feel overwhelmed like you have to have 3 potential product ideas in mind. Don't feel like you have to build this big brand in the very beginning, and you have to have whatever you launch for your first product, you have to have 2 or 3 other products related to that first one. You just simply don't need to worry about that in the beginning. You just need to find a good product that sells well, good demand, not seasonal, not patented, no restrictions, and makes an estimated minimum monthly profit of $3,000. Would you recommend sending 50% of your inventory to Amazon first and holding on to the other 50 at home to avoid storage fees when needed? So I don't recommend that, sending product to your house, because you end up paying for shipping twice. So you end up paying for shipping charges and costs to ship the product from your supplier to your house. And then you end up spending another shipping cost from your house to Amazon. So you end up paying double for shipping. The only time I recommend that is if you get a better deal from your supplier ordering 500 units instead of 250, and you want to send 250 to Amazon and keep the other 250 at your house, and it's a small or a lightweight product, or it's an oversized product that takes up a lot of space in Amazon's warehouse and the storage fees are expensive, or it's Q4. Then I would maybe send like 300 to Amazon and keep 200 at my house. But remember, If you send the product to your house, you're going to pay double for the shipping. Okay, we're going to wrap up right there for today, guys. Please hit the thumbs up button. I really enjoyed being here for my first live stream with all of you. It meant the world to me that you guys came and shared today's video. Like today's video if you haven't already. You came and were here for me and supported my channel, and that I was such a great live stream. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Joe, Sanjay, Travis, Bianca, Sophia, Mira. I didn't answer your question, Mira. Mira, real quick. Mira's question was about UPC codes. I think it was something about Mira was about UPC codes. So if your question was regarding UPC, you just need to buy a UPC barcode from Nationwide Barcode or from gs1website.com. And we just need one UPC code per Amazon FBA product or per color variation to go ahead and create the listing. And then we get the, once we change it to Fulfilled by Amazon, then we get the Amazon barcode. We're going to end it right there, guys. Thank you so much for being here today. I really enjoyed being and speaking with all of you. Thanks for your support. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope all of you guys had an amazing Sunday. I look forward to seeing you guys again on my next video, and thanks for being here today.